are out there basically saying that one of the big reasons why they're failing is because of a lack of their signature line.
As today, Nike. Oh my God.
Brand, synonymous with global sports dominance, just did something nobody saw coming. In a single move, they turned a dream opportunity into one of the most baffling marketing blunders in recent memory. How could the biggest name in athletic fumble so hard when the spotlight was on one of the most promising stars in women's basketball, Caitlyn Clark? Strap in, because this story goes from high hopes to head-scratching twists, and it's all unfolding in front of millions of fans. Caitlyn Clark's sudden surge in the public eye was like a rocket launch. She wasn't just the newest face of college hoops, she was quickly becoming the face of women's sports. When Nike dropped a sleek commercial during the biggest TV event of the year, fans went wild. The ad showcased her skills, her grit, and the aura that's made her a once-in-a-generation talent. Everyone assumed it was just the beginning, a passing of the torch from legends like Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron to a fresh new icon. From the moment the commercial hit airwaves, social media lit up with excitement. Analysts praised Nike for championing a rising star who could breathe new life into its brand. And it wasn't just college basketball fans talking. Even professional athletes, celebrities, and sports writers chimed in to celebrate what seemed like a brilliant move. Caitlyn Clark had that rare combination of skill and charm, and Nike looked poised to ride that wave to an epic success story. But less than 24 hours later, everything flipped upside down. You'd think Nike would follow up with something even bigger, right? After all, the hype was sky high. Well, it turned out the exact opposite happened, and that's where this saga gets truly mind-blowing. In a move that left everyone speechless, Nike released a follow-up ad the very next day. But in this sequel, there was no mention of Caitlyn Clark. It wasn't just that her name didn't come up. She was completely erased. Imagine cheering on a star one day, only to watch the official brand that sponsored her act as if she didn't exist the next. Fans immediately felt the whiplash. The uproar was loud and swift. How could Nike ignore the very athlete who had stolen the show? Every other player from the original spot got a shout-out, a highlight, or at least a casual nod. Caitlyn Clark's name? Missing, as though someone pressed delete on the last commercial's storyline. Social media exploded with theories. Was this a contractual glitch? A behind-the-scenes dispute? Or did Nike simply blunder in the editing room? Either way, the internet wasn't buying any excuses. Hundreds of comments poured in, with fans accusing Nike of disrespecting the most marketable figure in the women's game. Even established industry voices were left scratching their heads, openly wondering how such a glaring omission could possibly happen by accident. The speed at which fans mounted their outrage was shocking. People took to Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube comment sections to vent. One upset viewer wrote, "You make an ad and mention everyone except Caitlyn Clark. She's the entire reason for the buzz." Another fan called Nike out more bluntly, saying, "You guys are a bunch of clowns for pulling this. She deserves better." Nike's social media channels couldn't keep up with the backlash. Every post about shoe releases, new signings, or unrelated campaigns was quickly flooded with comments demanding answers. It became nearly impossible for them to steer the conversation away from the glaring question: why remove Caitlyn Clark from the limelight after her spectacular debut? Industry experts described it as a textbook example of how not to handle a rising star. After all, Caitlyn Clark's hype isn't just hype. It's genuine excitement over a rare talent. To fans, ignoring her was like inviting them to a party, and then locking the door right when they arrived. You'd think Nike's PR team would roll out a heartfelt apology, or maybe a polished statement explaining the confusion. Instead, they did something so bizarre it only poured more fuel on the fire. They released a hastily altered director's cut of the ad. It sounded promising, like maybe we'd see more of Clark, or at least get an acknowledgement of the controversy. Instead, we got a clumsy voiceover patch that stuck out like a random puzzle piece forced into the wrong spot. Without warning, you'd hear a line awkwardly inserted, praising Rookie of the Year Caitlyn Clark. But the speaker on screen wasn't even moving their lips. It was like watching one of those vintage foreign films with out-of-sync dubbing, and viewers wasted no time roasting it. Comments rained in, calling the edit laughably bad and a cheap band-aid on a gaping wound. It was clear that Nike was scrambling, but the attempt to fix their mistake only highlighted how unnatural the omission was in the first place. The meltdown caught the attention of sports marketing analysts, who normally spend their time dissecting ad performance and brand strategy. Many described Nike's handling of this situation as painfully amateur for a company of its stature. One seasoned analyst pointed out that Nike built its empire on iconic campaigns, like the Jordan brand and its association with legendary athletes. Neglecting an up-and-coming superstar like Caitlyn Clark was a glaring contradiction to Nike's legacy of elevating big names. Another well-known commentator put it bluntly, "When you have gold, you don't throw it away. You build a monument around it." They emphasized how brands typically jump at the chance to champion an athlete who brings a passionate following and undeniable talent. By removing Clark from the conversation, Nike appeared clueless about what fans actually want: authenticity and consistency. Meanwhile, other apparel giants watched from the sidelines. They surely noticed the fiasco, likely sensing a massive opportunity. If Caitlyn Clark felt slighted, what's to stop her from looking at alternative sponsorships? Rival companies would love to sign a big name that's already proven to draw crowds and headlines. Here's the question everyone's asking: will this controversy push Caitlyn Clark toward another deal? There's speculation she might already be entertaining offers from brands that not only want her talent, but also understand how to elevate her persona. After all, if she's the face of women's basketball, some argue women's sports in general, why stick with a sponsor that struggles to acknowledge her? This blunder doesn't just hurt Nike's PR in the short term. It carries the potential to permanently stain their reputation with female athletes. If the biggest sportswear brand appears to be half-hearted in spotlighting someone as remarkable as Clark, smaller brands or new competitors can swoop in with promises of better exposure, better deals, and a true commitment to women's sports. Meanwhile, fans are left uncertain. Could we witness an unprecedented transfer of a superstar athlete from Nike to a rival brand? It's not unheard of, but the ripple effects could be game-changing. Suddenly, endorsements, shoe lines, and entire marketing campaigns might revolve around Clark's next move. And Nike's critics wouldn't let the brand forget they practically handed her over on a silver platter. Nike's damage control efforts haven't exactly smoothed things over. The awkward voiceover, the lack of a clear explanation, and the deafening silence on social media all feed into the narrative that the company messed up big time. Some fans argue Nike owes more than a simple patchwork fix. They want transparency. Why? Was Clark really left out of that follow-up spot? Meanwhile, the brand is undoubtedly re-evaluating its approach. Do they double down and try to win back Clark's loyalty with a fresh campaign tailored just for her? Or do they hope the backlash fades away, banking on the next sports phenom to overshadow the fiasco? Neither path is easy. After all, the internet never forgets, and fans often cling to controversies longer than any corporate statement can anticipate. Media outlets, from sports networks to lifestyle magazines, are picking up the story as well. They're painting the Go ordeal as a pivotal moment for women's sports, a missed chance for a company that once thrived on championing groundbreaking athletes. If Nike truly wants to reclaim its position at the pinnacle of sports advertising, it'll need more than a rushed voice note. It'll need to show genuine respect for the star power that is Caitlyn Clark. In the end, what started as a thrilling Super Bowl commercial turned into a cautionary tale. Nike, a brand that practically wrote the rulebook on legendary sports advertising, somehow tripped on its own success. Caitlyn Clark went from being the next big thing in their roster to the star they forgot to mention. Fans, experts, and other athletes watched this play out in real time, and they won't easily let it go. So here we stand, with Nike scrambling, Clark in the eye of a storm she didn't create, and countless onlookers wondering if this was a one-off error or something deeper. Will Caitlyn Clark stay loyal to the iconic swoosh, or will she find a new partner eager to showcase her full brilliance? No matter the outcome, one thing is certain. This fiasco has exposed cracks in Nike's once flawless marketing machine, and it's a wake-up call for anyone who dares to underestimate the power of a rising star. And that's where we leave it for now. Because if there's one lesson in all of this, it's that major brands might rule the industry today, but one slip can change everything tomorrow. Caitlyn Clark is still shining bright, and whether or not Nike stands behind her, the world will be watching what she does next. Let's just hope the next big move is as epic as she is.